professional development of the 25-26 school year with the Center for Music Education at Georgia College. This year we're focusing on wellness and mental and physical health. And so our first presenter this year is Mr. Jay Davis. Jay Davis was for the past 10 years the band director at Houston County High School in Warner Robins, Georgia, and has done an amazing job there. Recently, he has decided to take a different direction in his life, and he starts this fall at Auburn University to get his PhD in music education, specializing in conducting. Jay is also the Davis in the Holmes Davis in my name, and so we're very excited to have him. And so, Jay, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, good morning, good afternoon. It's morning where I live. I'm coming to you guys from Auburn, and I'm really excited to be presenting on a topic that until 2 years ago was completely foreign to me. Just wanted to say a couple of things before we get started on this. I'm going to talk a lot about my health journey. I've had a lot of people ask over the last 2 years, what I've done, how I've done it, been getting a lot of private messages and things like that. So I kind of want to share this with the world. The disclaimer that I would like to say first and foremost is that I am not a medical professional. Do not take this as sound medical advice. I'm going to share what worked for me. I'm going to share why I did what I did, and I'm going to talk about the things that I've learned and based on the research that I've done for my health journey. But again, don't do anything health related, medically related. Don't make any of these changes without consulting your doctor first. I did do these things with consultation with my medical professionals just to make sure that I was doing the things in the right way and that I wasn't going to cause more harm than good by proceeding and moving forward with what I've done. So that's a very important disclaimer to get started with. So I just wanted to say that at the outset that, again, I am not a medical professional. I'm a high school band director in a former life and now a graduate student, and none of this should be considered absolute sound medical advice. This is just stuff that worked for me, things that I've done, things that I've learned, things that I discussed with my doctors as I went through this journey. So my story is kind of nuanced, got a lot of parts to it, but for the most part, I've been big my whole life. I was that perfect little chubby trumpet playing band kid that didn't play sports. I wasn't into exercising. I didn't do any of that kind of stuff. But July of 2023, my father passed away. And at that point in time, I weighed 336 pounds. I was not healthy. But what I came to realize when dad died was that he didn't do anything to take care of himself. And largely the things that cost him his life ultimately were preventative things, things that he could have taken care of had he done anything to better his physical well-being, to better his health. So when dad died, kind of a switch flipped. And I realized that I was getting close to the age where he started having his health problems. I'm almost 47 years old. Again, was 336 pounds and just not healthy, not at all. Didn't do anything but teach band, and that keeps you active and it keeps you moving, but it's not what you really need for good, serious health stuff. So back in 2016, I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, which, considering what I was eating and my size and my weight, it was not a surprise to anybody. And so they started a prescription where I started taking a drug called metformin, which is supposed to lower your blood sugar. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm taking this pill. I can still do whatever I want, eat whatever I want. I'm good. It's going to fix everything. Well, it's not really how it works. And when dad died, 2 weeks after my father passed, I went to my doctor and I said enough. So they did all the blood work. For those of you who don't know about diabetic things, to be considered, there's a measurement in your blood called the A1C. And again, not a medical professional, don't really know what that means, just kind of measures how much sugar is in your blood and what it does to your body. And so my A1C was, I think the words were, "You gonna die." That was my A1C measurement. 7 or higher is considered type 2 diabetic. 6 or higher is considered pre-diabetic. My A1C was 11.8, which is astronomically high. And so at that point, we made the decision for me to start taking the Mounjaro shots, which everybody's like, "Oh, you did the shot, so you cheated." Well, it doesn't really work that way. If you do the shots for your diet, for me, it was for blood sugar. It does kind of kickstart the weight loss, but to do what I've done, it's not going to do that. You probably would lose 20 or 30 pounds on Mounjaro, but even if I did that, that would still have me over 300 pounds. So, um, what I did differently this time was I decided that, okay, taking the metformin didn't work because I didn't do what I needed to do diet wise. So I started fixing my diet. So August of 2023 is when I started the shot and started adjusting my dietary things. And so basically, what I've done is I have cut 90%, maybe 95% of carbs out of my diet, which is not necessary for everyone. I mean, there are lots of good carbs, and carbs are good for if you do serious gym things. But for me, I have to be very mindful of my blood sugar even now. So I stopped eating carbs. I joke with people. Basically, I said I stopped eating anything that tastes good. So any of the really fun stuff I don't eat. I try to. I have not had a single any pasta since July of 2023. That was the first thing to go because I was eating pasta like every meal. So I stopped eating pasta. I switched to a very high protein based diet, which for me being diabetic was great. Lots of fish, boneless, skinless chicken, thin pork chops, lots of vegetables and fruit. And fruit does have sugar in it, but it's good fruit because the fiber content in fruit kind of negates the sugar content. And that's just kind of how your body works and processes it. But so any rate, so I changed my diet, and fortunately my wife was very gracious and went on that journey with me and was okay with what we were eating. But I started looking at the numbers and doing the research. Basically, to lose weight, your body has to be at a caloric deficit. You have to burn more calories than you consume on a daily basis. And so, getting that knowledge in place, I started working on measuring and keeping up with my diet. And I set a goal for myself for 1,500 calories a day. And so that's really what kickstarted the weight loss was the fact that I was 1,500 calories a day. Again, I would eat a typical day for me kind of looks like this. In the morning, I drink a protein shake. That is my breakfast. For lunch, I'll get like one of those little salad kits that you can get at Kroger, the pre-made kits. And so I'd have a salad. And recently I discovered flavored tuna packets, which are high sources of protein. I particularly like the Starkist Thai chili flavored, quite good. So I'd put that on the salad, and that's what I would eat for lunch. And then for dinner, a typical dinner would be like a salmon fillet, maybe another salad, maybe some Brussels sprouts, just depending on. For snacks, I discovered that my sweet tooth was satiated by Greek yogurt. And so I eat the Oikos 000, which is no carb yogurt. I particularly like the blueberry flavor. So,
Jay,
yes, ma'am.
sorry. How did this work with your teaching schedule? Because you're talking about what you eat. How
I'm
did you
getting
take
to
it to
that.
school?
I'm
No, I
getting to
know,
that.
but how did you take it to
I'm
school?
getting to that. So, any rate, um, but like Greek yogurt and apples are kind of my go-to snacks when I want something, in between meals. So, to answer Tina's presumptive question, I and I'm getting to this in a little bit, but with the whole food planning and making sure that you're eating the right things, you have to take the time to do prep work. Fortunately, I had a small fridge in my office, so on Sundays I'd go grocery shopping and I would take 5 salads and put them in my fridge. I'd bring the tuna packets and put them in my filing cabinet, and I'd keep a bottle of salad dressing. Ranch is really good if you're looking to monitor calories and all that kind of stuff. I would not do low fat because the fat content is actually good for you in the salad dressing. So that's how I would do it. And most weeks I would just eat that salad for lunch and I was good. But the planning has to take place. And that's really the kind of the message for all of this, is that you have to plan your life around the commitment to doing these things. Like, it can't be an afterthought. This has to be at the forefront of your thinking and what you're doing and how you're planning your week all the time. So, um, as far as carbs go, I'm not going to lie and say that I don't eat carbs. Sometimes you just need a bag of peanut M&Ms, and I don't sweat it. But whereas now I'll eat peanut M&Ms maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. I mean, that's different than eating an entire box of Little Debbie cakes in a day and doing that multiple times during the week, which was something that I was doing. So, the last component of the caloric intake thing is that you really need to find some way to track what you're eating. For me, the MyFitnessPal app has been great, because it's got a lot of, like, most everything's preloaded, so you don't have to do guesswork. Someone's already figured out like how many calories are in these things, and I kind of estimate. But it also tracks your macros. And so for me, I have it built where my protein goal every day is really, really high. My carb goal is really low. And then the fat content's the third part that it measures. So MyFitnessPal is really great for that. And it tells me like I can measure how much I'm eating. And like I said, I try to limit to 1,500 calories, but it also, because I have an Apple Watch, it tracks the workouts that I do, and those workouts are put in and adjusts my caloric numbers based on that. So as long as I can stay at a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight if you stay at a calorie deficit, and that's the trick. So, any questions about this part so far? I mean, it's pretty straightforward stuff. Basically, everybody asks me, and I get messages from all kinds of people. For years and years, I'd get questions about, how do you get your band to be better? But now I'm getting questions about, diet and exercise. I mean, even football coaches that I've worked with in the past are asking me what I'm doing. I'm like, isn't your job to know how to do all this stuff? Like, that's but I'll answer them, and I just tell them honestly what I'm telling you guys today. So at any rate, um, that was the deal with the food, and I'm still on that regimen now. It's been almost 2 years. Actually, it's been over 2 years now that I've been eating and doing all those kind of things. And so, um, but
I
the
do have a
diet,
quick, sorry, I do have a quick question about that. You talked about the planning and the preparation work, but what if I'm an already overwhelmed? How can I make this easier if I'm an already overwhelmed teacher and I don't have more time?
well, with the food planning, and I'm going to get to this when I start the last part of my thing is about the making it work part. But basically, your health is more important than anything you do in the job. And going to the grocery store and picking up those salads and getting that stuff ready is 30 minutes out of your week. I mean,
So you use,
we worry about, like, as a band director, I I could think about my job 24/7 and still not get everything done. But nobody cares about the job if you're dead because you've done the things to harm your body, to hurt yourself. And so, um, you just have to make the time and you have to carve it out. Now, the great thing about the things that I eat is that there's very little prep during the school day. I know as teachers that we all have very limited time. Our planning periods are usually taken with all kinds of meetings and professional development and class coverages and all that stuff. As long as you get a place to store it, you can pull it out, have that salad made and finished within 10 minutes total. So you've got to find what works for you. Some people will grill chicken on Sunday and pre-make like the little Tupperware bins with chicken and rice or chicken and vegetables or whatever, and just have those ready and pull them out and grab them. Um, None of this works without a little prep on the back end, but all the prep that you do on the weekend for your week is makes it where you can do anything food related within 10 minutes in the time you have. And for teachers who don't even have time to go to the bathroom, that time's a premium. And so the choices that I made are choices that I knew that I could get quickly, that were healthy, rather than, I mean, for years I'd be like, okay, lunch is going to be in about, I'm going to be able to eat in about 40 minutes. Let me get DoorDash to deliver this ridiculous amount of food that I didn't need to eat anyway, a foot long sub, a whole chicken dinner. I mean, just all kinds of bad choices. So doing the prep work on Sunday, you have to put it on your schedule. You have to say on Sundays at 6 p.m. I'm going to do my meal prep for the week and then be ready to go. Um, and and there's no shortcut to that. You just have to do it, but you have to find the things that you could eat or want to eat that you could make quickly and efficiently and are efficient to eat when you have the time, but are good choices. Again, boneless, skinless chicken thighs are great. Chicken breasts are great because you can do all kinds of stuff to it, flavoring, seasoning, dressings. That sweet and sriracha Chick-fil-A sauce is life-changing if you like spicy things, gives it more flavor. I highly suggest getting an air fryer. I cook 100% of my meat in an air fryer now because it does remove a lot of stuff that's bad. And it's also a lot faster than cooking it traditional ways, whether it be grilling or oven or that kind of stuff. Since time is such a premium, these are the things that I did to save the time, like getting the air fryer and learning how to use it and learning recipes that work for that, and just being able to make choices that I could literally within 10 minutes start to finish at work.
And I
Fix it.
heard you say that you buy pre-made salads from like Kroger, so you don't even have to, once you buy the salad, it's just taking it to school and you have the tuna packets that are also, so, you're making quality pre-made choices.
Yeah, and it's not processed food, which is important. It's a much healthier choice. And you can buy the big salad kits and you can make your own little mini salads as well and just have them ready to go. But if time is truly the premium, I'd rather someone else do all that work on the back end so I don't have to. There's all kinds of flavors. You can get Caesar, you get Cobb, you get Chef. They've got the Southwestern with like black beans and corn in. I mean, it's plenty of options there. I also discovered a few months ago, company called Bear Bells makes really great protein bars that are pretty low in sugar. They're about 200 calories a bar, but it's 30 grams of protein, and they actually taste good. It's like eating a candy bar. A lot of protein, like protein bars and things like that, don't taste great, but these really do taste good, and they got lots of flavors. All right, so that's basically it on the diet. That's basically it on the prep work and how I made it work at school. I was lucky because I had a mini fridge in my office, so I could keep yogurt in my office. So if I wanted a snack, I had the yogurt. Of course, I had my trusty companion, the Diet Mountain Dew. I didn't talk a lot about water, but water is really important to this. I'm not a coffee drinker, as my wife, so well, she is. But I drink a lot of Diet Mountain Dew, but I try to drink water at kind of a 2-to-1 ratio. So if I drink a Mountain Dew, I'm trying to drink like 12 ounces of Mountain Dew. I'm gonna drink 24 ounces of water and try to balance it that way. I also started doing liquid IV, but that we'll talk about that with the gym stuff. So getting into that, we'll talk about the gym a little bit. So I did the diet stuff for a year, and I was doing really well, losing weight. Um, uh, Probably around, well, June of 2024. I joined a gym near our new house where we were living, and um, I cannot stress enough how important and how life-changing me going to the gym was in so many ways. And this is where it'll get tricky when we start talking about the making it work part. But basically, I go to the gym every single day. There are very few days that I don't go to the gym. And it just depends. For me, I like doing things late at night. I'm a night person, so I prefer going to the gym in the evenings, which actually worked out great for me as far as the schedule, and we'll talk about that. Time of day is important. There are arguments for morning workouts, there are arguments for evening workouts. My point is work out when it works best for you, because any working out is better than not working out. It's better than not working on your physical health and your physical well-being. So if you like doing it in the mornings, do it in the mornings. If you like doing it in the evenings, do it in the evenings. Just do it. Just go. Get off your butt. So for me, I broke mine into two pieces. There's the weight training component, and then there's the cardio component. As far as weight training goes, at first I just did 30 minutes of weight training, and I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I wasn't doing like heavy weights, but I was trying to hit. So like I tried to do some arm stuff, I tried to do some back stuff, I tried to do some leg stuff, and I would do those every day. And I was doing like really light weights, not heavy weights, but just something to get my body moving, to get going. I was probably around from at that point, I was probably around 250. So the change in my diet had gotten me from 336 to 250. Um, and so then I started the gym component. As time progressed, I started doing a lot of research. There's a lot of YouTube that you can watch. There's a lot of videos that pop up on Facebook. I mean, the algorithm, if you watch one gym video, you're going to get 8,000 gym videos. And I started saving them because one thing that I had a problem with is I didn't know how to use any of the machines. Like it wasn't in my wheelhouse, so I had to learn how to use the machines effectively and through all of that stuff. And I highly suggest before you get in there to learn how to use the machines, watch the videos because there's so many different ideas about like even the grip that you use on the different apparatus. Like if you're doing straight bar curls on a cable machine, if you do an underhanded grip, it's going to work one muscle set. If you do an overhanded grip, it's going to work a different muscle set. And that's consistent across all of the machines and exercises. So as time's gone on, I started learning more, being a student of physical fitness and working out. But along with that 30 minutes of weight training, every gym workout, I would do 30 minutes of cardio. And for me, I jacked up my knee when my children were little. And so I did the seated bike because that was a lot more low impact. And the idea is that with cardio, you want to get your heart rate in a zone higher than like just normal things. I love my Apple Watch because it tracks what zone I'm in based on my heart rate at the time. Typically, you want to be in zone three, which is around 136 to 142 beats a minute on your heart rate. And that's maximum for burning and for good cardiovascular health. So, but that's pretty brisk on a bike. You can do treadmill, you can do stairs. Tina does the elliptical. So, I mean, all of those things work, but you just have to get moving. And over time, I had a friend give me a really nice Trek bike, and I started riding the bike outside because at some point, you just want to get out of the gym. You want to get out into the world and see things. So, I started doing bike. I prefer that to running, though I have done some running, which for me is unheard of. Even if I was being chased, I wouldn't run. So I just stand there and fall over and like just die. But as times progressed, I've gotten more intentional about the weight training. And what I suggest is you split it up into a push day, a pull day, and a leg day. And then I've learned the value of recovery days, which I was not doing. And even though I work out 7 days a week, I don't do weightlifting 7 days a week anymore because I'm doing it such a higher weight now. My body needs time to repair itself. And so I've learned the value of that, but I still do cardio every day. I'm in my apartment. I don't know if you can see it or not, but behind me in my apartment, I found a bike on Facebook Marketplace. It's like the quick and dirty version of a Peloton, but I paid like $150 for it on Facebook Marketplace, and it's great. and it's got a little stand on it. I put my iPad on it and watch, Star Trek while I'm working out, and life is good. So, but for me, I'm doing much more targeted exercises. If you've never done it before, you might want to consult with a personal trainer just so they can make sure that you're doing things right. But just really pay attention. But as far as weight training goes, what you're looking to do, first and foremost, you just got to get moving. That's the biggest thing. You got to start lifting, start working different muscle groups, because all of those muscles that you're building with the weight training are going to make your body burn more calories when you're not doing things. It increases your metabolism, and just the heart rate being higher helps burn more calories and keeps all the bad stuff out of your body. So, but I would find somebody who can really show you how to do stuff. I was like creepy gym stalker. If somebody was using a machine that I didn't know how to use, I would just kind of stand in the corner and like, oh, I'm lifting weights, and I'd watch them and see how they did it, and learn how to do those things. And I mean, that worked too. But at any rate, other things you can do for like physical fitness training, um, walking is huge. I mean, if all you do is walk every day, now walking just around your school campus is not walking, but getting out and just intentionally walking at a relatively brisk pace to get your heart rate up. That's really, really good if you're not doing anything else. There's a great app called Couch to 5K, that if you've never done any physical exercise, it gives you a very structured training program to get you moving, and it helps you track it, and it holds you accountable. And we're going to talk about accountability in a minute. Other people do yoga. I think Tina does some yoga. Some people do Pilates. Some people do the resistance band workouts. I mean, there's just the fact of the matter is you just got to do something. For me, the weight training, the gym stuff was what I found that I really enjoyed. And just the fact of the matter is you've got to do something. Um, what I also found with the gym for me, we all know that as music teachers, our job tends to be very stressful. Calculus teachers don't have to give their test and post their scores in front of an audience every single time we do anything, but everything that we do is always on public display. And so for me, the gym has become more about my mental health and well-being than, or as much about my mental health and well-being as my physical health. My body literally craves working out because it just it settles me. It lets me block out all the other stuff that's going on. I put my AirPods in and I can listen to anything from, 90s rap to musicals to the North Texas Wind Ensemble. I mean, I'll listen to just whatever, just put something on and get to work. So, um, for me, um, the hardest part about doing all of this is obviously the job. I was a high school band director at Houston County High School. I was very fortunate for the program that I had. It was a really just amazing job, amazing students, super supportive band parents. But it was all encompassing. It was all consuming. I mean, I had 4 concert bands, a jazz ensemble that met every day, a 220-piece marching band, um, lots of moving pieces. And so everybody has to find their way to do it. But for me, the analogy that I have is the same as all of us who are musicians about practicing. Once you start practicing, the practicing isn't the problem. The hardest part of practicing is the 10 feet from your couch to your case to get your instrument out, or go to a piano and practice your voice things. But that's the hardest part. And so you just have to get up and go. Now, for me, when I started the gym, it wasn't the most ideal time to start working out because it was right in the middle of summer band camp. But I just decided that my health and well-being was worth a little less sleep sometimes. So for me, I would go basically 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. for band camp, between getting there, setting up, 8 to 8 band camp, getting everybody out, closing up shop. I found a gym that was 24/7. which that's important with access. And so I would have my gym clothes in the car, and I would change into my gym clothes, and I would drive to the gym after band camp, and I would work out, and I would make sure that as far as it was like scheduling a class, that was my class time during band camp. And then when school started, we went to having rehearsals in August because it's hotter than 40 hells outside. We went to having rehearsals from 5:30 to 8:30. So there's another gym by my school that the school system pays for membership for. So I would take my gym clothes, and right after school I'd go to the gym and then go back into the band room and do rehearsal. Some people are morning people. When Tina used to do gym pretty seriously, she'd get up at like 5 a.m. and go to the gym, and 4 a.m. and then go to the gym. I am not that person. I will get
I
out of
just
bed.
showered at the gym. Yeah.
Yeah, like for
But we
me,
had kids when, right now it's easier for you to be gone every day because our kids are in college. But when the kids were still home, I had to be able to come home right after school to pick up the kids and cook dinner and do the things.
yeah.
So it was early morning for me.
And you have to, if you're single, it's a little bit easier because you don't have those kind of pressures on you. If you're married or in a pretty serious relationship, you've got to make sure that your partner is on board with all of this. For me, Tina was great because, she, for whatever reason, wants me to stick around for a while. And,
Some
some
days.
days, yeah. So, but she was really supportive of all of that. But as far as you just have to commit to doing it. Like I said, they had the gym by my school, so I'd go work out and then do my band practices. If I was traveling to the GMEA conference, I would go to the gym in the hotel to make sure that I was staying consistent. And it's just one of those things you have to make the decision that your health and well-being is more important than the job. There's all these Facebook memes that if you died tomorrow, your job would have you replaced within a week or two. It's true. So you've got to take care of you. Um, and it doesn't matter what time of day you do it, you find what works best for you. If you can't get to the gym, go for a walk. If you teach at a school, there's probably a track nearby. Just go walk on the track. Some people go during their planning periods and go walk during their planning periods if they have the time to do it. But the fact of the matter is that sitting on the couch eating Cheetos is not going to prolong your life. So for me, it was a matter of I have a lot of things I still want to do. I have a lot of band left to teach. I have a lot of being Tina's husband that I want to make sure that I'm around for, and being father to my kids. And the path that I was on, it was not going to happen if I continued. Um, so So kind of to wrap everything up, the three components of doing this, and everybody who's on social media with me knows that I post my gym pics a lot. And I've said this several times on social media. I don't post it for people to say, "Oh my God, look at Jay, he's going to the gym," because most people just like keep moving anyway. I post it to hold me accountable. And I've had so many people who send me private messages that are like, "Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing these things. You inspired me to work out. You inspired me to go to the gym." And I was never trying to inspire. I mean, I'm grateful that people would think that that was inspirational, but for me, it was about making sure that I had something that said, I'm going to hold myself accountable. And if the world sees this, then it's going to make sure that I continue on the days that I don't want to. Because it's not every day I'm just like, oh God, yes, it's time to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. This morning I was going to get up and go to the gym before I did this. Yeah, I woke up and decided, bed's really comfy this morning. I'll hit the gym later tonight. I'm going to sleep in this morning. And so I did, and it's great. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to work out at some point today. So just the bottom line is you've got to break it down into the three components. The planning component for your job, and that comes with the meal prepping and figuring out what you need to do and what works for you food wise. Everybody has different dietary needs. Everybody has different medical issues that they're dealing with. For me, the diabetic part was the biggest piece of that, and so I had to be really mindful of that. and just living in that caloric deficit. So the food part is one part. The second part is the moving part. You've got to get up. You've got to, I mean, my hashtag is no quit. No matter what's going on in the day, I'm going to make this a priority because this is more important than the job. And it has to be. Your physical and mental health and well-being have to be more important than the job. So those two things. And then the third thing is like just being committed to it and making sure that every day I'm checking the boxes. Did I eat well today? Did I work out today? Am I paying attention to my water intake? And just making sure that these things are consistently there. And you know, I feel so much better. I can't tell you how much better I feel. I would sit at my desk at work and I'd just be sitting there and all of a sudden 30 minutes would pass. I'd fallen asleep because I had no energy and my metabolism was so sluggish and all of that kind of stuff. So now, I can get up. My apartment, there's 32 steps from the street to my apartment. I just breeze through them. I can only imagine what it had been like if I was still carrying around all the weight. So you're worth it. Um, you're worth more than the job. Take care of you. I promise it's not easy. And there's always going to be ways that you can make an excuse. Well, I can't do it today because of this and all of this. And that's fine. But like the results kind of speak for themselves. For me, I went from 336 pounds to right now today, I weigh 168 pounds. I've literally lost a human being. I was in a size 46 pants. I now wear a size 31 pants. I was in a 4X shirt and this is a medium t-shirt and it's not like, I mean, it's a medium t-shirt. You know, I right now today weigh about 65 pounds less than the first day I started high school. And when I say I was big my whole life, I was big my whole life. And everybody who's known me knows that. And it's so funny going to like, William, you mentioned the GMEA conference. Like people I have known for 30 years, just seeing them for the first time, the double take. It's like watching a movie. Like it just happens. And they're like, I didn't know that was you. I went to a couple of students' weddings this summer, former students of mine who got married. And I remember one particular wedding, there was like 6 or 7 of my former band kids standing in a group and their back was to me. And I just kind of slipped in and said, "Hey guys." And they were like, "Oh my God." Like they didn't know who I was. And so, and that's really gratifying. I will tell you one of the hidden things about this kind of weight loss, and I don't publicize this a lot, but I have a lot of excess skin. That's a downside to losing weight as fast as I did. And the only real way to take care of that at this point is going to be surgery. So if anybody wants to do, if an impromptu car wash doesn't raise the $50,000 I needed to.
Jay, no.
So, but the skin thing is problematic sometimes. Um, for me, it's not physically like I don't care what it looks like. For me, it makes it hard to sleep sometimes because it kind of folds on itself. But that's one big part of it. And then just stay committed to it.
Jay, you decided to work out 7 days a week, but do we have to do all of us need to work out 7 days a week?
No. If you're a novice to it, I mean, even people who are like serious gym rats don't work 7 days a week. For me, it's just what I like to do now. At first, I did it because I feared that if I took one day off, that I would never go back. And so once I got my body wired for the gym, I don't worry about that as much now. I would say 3 days a week. But I would do cardio 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Weight training, I would do 3 days a week if you want to go that route to start with. And that's
Right.
how we would plan it out. But I think that's all I've got. Like I said, just some stats and figures there about my size, and it's the other hidden problem is when you lose weight as fast as I did, thrift stores become your best friend because you can't afford to buy clothes. Like I could not physically, I drove Tina nuts. I could not buy clothes fast enough to stay in them. Tina, I got to go buy pants. You just bought pants. Yeah, well, these are laying in the floor now because they fall off. And
Well,
so,
before we go, William, I think I remember that you like to bike, yeah? Bike and hike or just bike?
So my primary interest is cycling. Um, that's something I have been doing since about the summer before my senior year of high school is when I
Hmm.
kind of got into it seriously. And for me, it just kind of not only became a way to stay healthy, but also an outlet for just my mental health.
Yes.
I like that activity too because, you
Hmm.
know, for me, where I struggle is strength training and going to
Sure.
the gym. Like the only reason I had a gym membership before is because they had a pool, and for a while I was doing triathlons.
All right. Well,
But
that'll do it.
yeah, so but for me, I'm not someone that particularly enjoys going to a gym. So what I've done is I just bought some like just some like medium sized dumbbells from,
Hmm.
like I think I got them at Target, just
Hmm.
like between like 15 and 25 pounds, and
All
that
right.
that's all
lets
you
me,
need.
Yeah.
right.
You can do a
How do you
lot.
So
schedule it around now that you're a teacher? How do you schedule your biking and weightlifting and triathleting around being a teacher?
so one thing that is helpful. So like I was saying, I do not enjoy strength training. It has gotten a little better because I think the more you do it, the easier it does
Yeah.
become,
Well,
which makes it
you get
more
stronger.
right. But my wife holds me accountable for that. So it's like I'll use the reminders app to schedule workouts for my week, and I'll be like, oh, I really don't want to strength train today. And my wife will tell me like I have to do it. So that's one thing that helps me. But scheduling it and putting it in my phone, having it written out that today I will do this is something that helps me. With the cycling, that kind of comes more naturally because that's something I want to, but I do have times where I'm just like, I really don't feel like it. Um, so some of the ways that I've made that easier is I'm part of a few groups that meet a few times a week. So like on Tuesdays, I'll come and do like a Tuesday night ride with a big group. And that has a social aspect to it that makes it more enjoyable, um, especially if I just don't feel like the exercise
Sure.
part that day. Um, Wednesdays, there's a smaller group ride. Um, and then Saturdays, there's something. Sundays, there's something. So having a social element to my exercise does help. Um, I know, Jay, you were showing that you have the bike behind you. One thing that helped me too is I bought what's called a smart trainer that I can take my bike and actually put it on. And then there's
Yeah.
an app called Swift that kind of like gamifies the exercise. So you can
Yeah.
earn like achievements and do races on that. And so if it's like I really don't want to go outside because it's like hot or cold or the weather is not what I want, or maybe it's at a time of day where, I don't feel particularly comfortable going out and riding my bike because of increased traffic at the time, I can
Yeah.
use that app and that trainer to make sure that I'm doing something.
That's why
Hmm.
I
Um,
like having that's why I like having the bike, because on the days where there was just nothing else, like it wasn't going to work,
mhm.
I have my bike and I can ride the bike, and that is at least something to keep me moving. And
Right.
and this bike is a little bit more closer. Like this one feels more like my actual bike than
Mhm.
some of like the recumbent bikes at the gym have the big wide seats. This is like an actual bike seat. This is actual
Right.
bike handlebars. It has the resistance of an actual bike, and it's adjustable resistance too, which is good. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I've seen those things like it's like a mount, you slide your like back tire into it and it
Mhm.
holds the bike in
Yeah.
place. And then
Yeah.
those are cool too.
Yeah. I think one thing too, um, like I know Jay, you were saying like teachers can usually there's a track nearby. Even like so, I'm at the elementary level now, so I don't have a track at my school. But one thing I can do is if I'm like know that I want to exercise, I have a commute that's about 40 minutes to get home. So a lot of times after that, I won't feel like doing anything. I can bring clothes and just walk around like the bus loop a couple of
Sure.
times for 30 minutes. I mean, I'll make sure I check out so they don't like think I'm like taking their time or whatever. But like you can do something at work. I remember my first year teaching. Um, during my planning periods, a lot of times I would feel like a lot of the stress that like a new first year teacher would have. So sometimes I would just like I would stay in the building, but I would like kind of walk the halls like at a brisk pace. And that would also help too because it helped with my relationship building
Mhm.
at work too.
Well,
But
it's
I
like
think
that's very similar to like you see a lot of older people who walk the inside of a mall.
mhm,
Or
And
like
that's very similar.
I have POTS and I'm not able to go out in the heat. I used to walk, 4 miles a day, but I can't go out in the heat anymore in Georgia and walk because I'll pass out. So that's when
mhm,
I started the elliptical. And so now, and the elliptical works a completely different muscle set than the walking. But
mhm.
But
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I think really, in my experience, the big thing is just establishing some kind of consistency.
Hmm.
And for me, what works is, using like the Remind app in my phone to type in,
Hmm.
okay, on like Tuesday at 6 p.m., go for a bike ride, or
Mhm.
Thursday, do upper body strength.
Yeah, there's
Um,
so many tools available to help you make this just a part of your life.
I remember
Like
when I
when
was,
you're
sorry.
like when you're in college, you kind of schedule when you're going to practice
mhm,
based on everything else that's going on. So it's like it's like appointment TV. You have to put in that I'm going to do these things, and you have to stay. First of all, you have to forgive yourself if you fail and miss one,
Sure.
but you have to stay consistent to it and make sure whatever system works for you. Like I can tell you what works for me, but it's not going to work for you because we're different people. But the
mhm,
fact of the matter is, you have your system that works for William to let you go and do what you need to do. I have the system that works for Jay. Tina has a system that works for her, but we all have our system. And whatever that
mhm,
is promoting our mental and physical well-being. And
Mhm.
that's what's important about it.
Another option is when I was at Woodland Middle School several years ago, the Woodland in Stockbridge, sorry, the art teacher was a CrossFit guy. So for a while we would have like, sometimes you have among the faculty the biggest loser competition kind of things. So for a while we had CrossFit during, our planning. Of course, you have to do your planning during your planning. So when we're talking about using your planning period for these things, you're not off the hook for your planning. But if you have, kind of your planning routine done, then you can do these things. And that again, the specials or connections team working together on CrossFit kind of things put a little social, into it. But we are actually at our time. Do y'all have anything else before we go?
No, just, like I said, your mental and physical well-being is more important than anything we do in our job. Because if you're not at your best, if you're not strong, if you're not mentally there, if you're not physically capable of doing the work, the kids are going to suffer because of it. And I didn't
Sure.
realize that till year 21 of my career. I can think back all on the years that I did all of the stuff and just, how much more effective could I have been if I wasn't dragging around another human being every day, in so many different aspects in what I do. Um, but get moving, keep doing what you're doing. And I'm always available if people have questions or
All
want me
right.
to talk about it. But it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Dr. Holmes Davis. I'll see you for dinner in a couple hours.
All right. Thank y'all for being here for this first episode of our mental and physical health focused 25-26 professional development series. Join us again on September 20th when Brent McDonald is going to talk to us about balancing work, life, and school. Brent actually graduated from our MAT program here at Georgia College last year, and while he was here, he was my graduate assistant, and he was teaching full time. He had children. One was a senior in high school, and was a graduate student and a graduate assistant, and so he knows some things about balancing multiple roles at the same time. So please join us to learn about that. Thank y'all for being here.
Williams, good to see you, man.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah,